Yo! So I got roped in to go watch that new movie, Sing 2. And let me tell you, it's not that bad. 12/22/21. Great way to end off the year. This adventure animation comedy is amazing. I mean, the animation in this is top tier. To be honest, when I first heard the singing in the beginning, like when it first started, I thought I was gonna be asleep for the whole movie. The first number in the movie went on entirely too long. I thought it was just gonna be like a little clip showing that everybody's still singing and stuff, but it just kept going. But finally the movie starts and we see Buster Moon still doing his thing. You gotta respect the guy though, because out of his whole group, nobody really respects him. And the man is so loyal. Michael McConaughey does a great job as playing as him. The group is trying to impress the scout that's looking at the show, but it's not going too good. In fact, she ends up leaving. But being the OG that Moon is, he ends up rocket launching across the whole stadium, landing next to the black sheep, telling her the story, and then he finally catches up to the scout asking how she liked the performance, trying to be nice and just walk away. But Moon is persistent. He won't take anything less than brute honesty, so she gives it to him. She just tells him flat out, "You're not good enough." Anybody else, they would have just closed up shop, but as she's in her taxi driving to her next appointment, here comes Moon on a bike. My guy's busting it down traffic trying to catch up to this taxi, all for an interview with their boss, and all he gets is the location. But for Moon, that's all he needs. After getting splashed in the outdoor fountain, it's back to the theater to meet up with the rest of the gang. See, at this point, Moon still feels like a failure. And can you really blame him? Nothing that he really does is too impressive. That is, until the black sheep comes in and gives some words of encouragement that puts a light bulb in his head. So trying to sleep on the ideas that the black sheep gave him, he ends up not even sleeping through the night and gets straight to work. Ends up going to a punk rock show, picking up one of the best characters in this movie, played by Scarlett Johansson, Miss Ash. I knew she was gonna be an integral part of the story as soon as I seen her. She can make it on her own. She got star power. But the group meets up at a bus terminal, ready to set off. But just like any other time working with Moon, the group has doubt. Moon's the boss for a reason. He got to talk to turn everybody's mind around. And that's exactly what he does. I mean, it is with some help from Rosita the pig, played by Reese Witherspoon. But just as the bus driver's ready to swerve off, they all hop on like, we gotta do this. Now, Moon only has the location, no appointment, and nobody really knows he's gonna be there. So the group literally has to sneak in, not knowing that the scout that was just at the theater with them was gonna be there too. Now they end up getting backstage and see the big boss turning down all these great performances. But Moon made it all the way here. He's not gonna turn back now. Having to lie to the producer just to get the job. The boss, Jimmy Crystal, Bobby Cannavale, I'ma call him Big. Mr. Big really wants this performance because they said they can get Clay Calloway. And Clay, he's been distant from the world for like years, so like nobody knows where he is or what he's doing. Or if he's still alive for that. Clay Calloway is voiced by Bono, but we'll get more into him when he becomes more relevant in the story. And once they get the job and the deadline set, they're treated like kings and queens for real. What can go wrong? Now they had to think of a whole script based off of Gunther's quick thinking, although he keeps on changing the ending so they can't figure out anything. And Gunther's voiced by Nick Kroll. On the first day of rehearsal, they don't have an ending for the show. And the team's a lot more sloppy than they used to be, having to learn new dance moves and getting over fears that they didn't even know they had. Rosita starred as the lead and was afraid of heights, and she had no idea that she was, leading to Mr. Big's daughter coming in and stealing her job right under her feet. Unfortunately, Moon had to go and recast her into a different new role as an alien, and dropping her confidence down to a new low when her piglets and her husband come a whole day early. And it got a sting to know that the girl is not as great as her. But what can happen? If Moon fire her, he can get fired. Or worse, get tossed out that window. You had to see the movie. Wait, did you see the movie? Alright, let's talk about Johnny, because he has some of the best parts of the movie. Terrence Egerton? Egerton? Man, he played his role like it was on wheels. Having to pick up dancing now to go with his new routine. He gets a dance instructor that's a monkey that just don't want to see him win. He intimidates him to the point that he doesn't even want to come to class. So that's when he goes out and finds other help, cause he really needed it. Enter Noshi, an outgoing Lynx character that's street performing and got everybody riled up around her. And Johnny likes that. He wants to get more loose with it. He doesn't like the fact that he wants to follow routine. The monkey dude, that is. So what does Johnny do? Spit a little game and get her to teach him how to dance. And within 2 days, he's a pro. Now, they don't really talk that much about the finishing of the script. It just happens. But another big thing that happens is the wolf, Portia Crystal. Everybody on set does not want her there, at least not in the role that she stole from Rosita. But what can you really say to the boss's daughter? So in the meanwhile, they still on the search for Kurt Calloway, leading to the most beautiful animation I almost seen in my life. And Miss Curly almost having me turn up like it was Hot 97. I mean, I love that character so much. Voiced by Garth Jennings. I didn't even know it was a dude. Crazy. She ends up finding Kurt Calloway and going to go meet him. Not in the way that she expected though. Turns out he's a straight maniac. Has her returning to the crew with a missing eye and a destroyed Lamborghini. Or Ferrari. I ain't really checked. After coming back with bad news, Moon is in a whole bunch of hot water because just before Miss Crowley got back, he had a meeting with the boss and it did not go good. Firing his daughter and not having Cromwell, things was not looking up for Moon. I honestly haven't talked about the elephant Mina because I didn't really like her story. I like Pharrell more as Alfonso, and that's telling because he's a side character. Her whole thing is like she can't kiss dude because like she's not in love, but in the actual performance they never end up kissing, so I'm like confused. But Tori Kelly has an amazing voice and she stole the show. But Darius, Eric Andre, oh my God, man. I met so many people like him in my lifetime. It's hilarious to see something like that on here. So I can see why Mina doesn't want to mess with him, but I like how she gets in her head and sings with Alfonso instead. But let's get to the main course, because this man Kurt Calloway is my spirit animal. Hidden away from society because the loss of his wife just took so much out of him. I don't have a loss like that to compare, but I can understand losing a muse and not wanting to go on anymore. Musically, it takes a star to show herself Ash Porcupine to get him out of his rut. Just in time though, cause Moon's in a meeting with the boss again and everything was looking downhill for him. But at this point, the boss doesn't want anything to do with Moon. He'll take his chances just throwing him out the window. So Moon tells everybody to leave, get out, let's just go. Nearly escaping with his life. He thinks this is not that serious. There'll be tons more shows that he can do. But knowing Moon, if he got his mind set on something, it's gonna happen. And that play that he had was so perfect. A space odyssey. So much went into production. He couldn't let his dream die. So like any OG would do, he got the crew together. One night only, a performance for all, and then one night return to Kurt Calloway. After getting rid of security and getting a little bit of their own security, the show was on. With Rosita back as lead, Johnny with new dance moves to complement his singing, Mina falling in love and getting over her fears, and Portia even getting a role inside the show. Although the boss tried to stop him at any time they can get, bringing in his goons and all, Johnny's pops was there with his apes, working as backup and security for the whole thing. They ended up finishing the night and everything was a success. Although Moon did get thrown off the high rise, leading to Rosita learning that she wasn't that scared after all. We can chalk that up to another plus. This all leads to a red carpet entrance for the whole group for their space odyssey. No more need for the boss. Moon's finally the boss. And you gotta respect that, man. I love Rags to Riches stories. And this is just something different. And plus the animation was just high tier, so what else can you really ask for? Am I weird or I don't know. I was trying to like find out what they ate the whole movie. Like I was just looking like, what do you eat? Cause I seen them drinking stuff. And like, I know the wolf could have ate. I digress. Alright, so if y'all really like this video, let me know what movie I should do next. And yeah, a like and a follow goes a long way. And hey, I like you too.